I've been reading about this immigration bill that Texas signed into law and that Greg Abbott will roll out officially in March, where you can detain somebody even if you suspect them of being here illegally. And when any of these states enact one of these bills, it makes me realize that while people say that Alabama is behind the times, when it comes to dumb fuckery, we are at the forefront, or sometimes even ahead of the times, because this is something we tried over a decade ago. And I've talked about it before, but I'm going to talk about it again because, forefront of dumb fuckery. In 2011, Alabama signed into law HB 56, which basically made it illegal to be an immigrant here, legal or not. I mean, legal immigrants left the state in droves after the bill was signed into law because they had to prove that they were here legally in every facet of life. I mean, if you looked different and you had a little bit of a twang in your accent, you had to prove that you were here legally, whether it be registering for school or renting a house or going to the doctor, anything. And lawmakers admitted that was the point of the bill, was to make life so much hell for immigrants that they would leave. And they succeeded. I mean, crops weren't in fields because nobody was there, to harvest them. And at the time, my work was actually having asbestos removed from our building, and immigrants were doing that work. And after the bill was signed into law, that work just stopped until years later when the Supreme Court gutted the bill and immigrants came back and finished the work, because for some reason the people who say they're taking our jobs don't really want to pick crops or remove asbestos. And part of the bill was just like the one in Texas. Police were required to detain somebody if they suspected them of being here illegally, and if that person could not prove right there on the bat if they were here legally. Right down the road from my house is the Mercedes plant. It is the shining beacon of Alabama. Our Alabama leaders always tout about bringing the Mercedes plant to Alabama and all the jobs created. Hey, they are right. And here's where the forefront of dumb fuckery comes into play. The very first person that was detained under the bill was a Mercedes executive on a business trip from Germany. He was stopped by police. He had an accent, and since he could not prove that he was here legally, by law, cops were required to detain him. Now, we all know those were not the immigrants that they had in mind when they wrote the damn bill. They were talking about the ones who were a little bit brown skinned and said things like Ola and Fiesta. But going by the law, the cop did what he was supposed to. The immigrant could not prove his immigration status, so he was detained, even though he was a German executive for Mercedes. And like I said, the Supreme Court eventually gutted the immigration bill, but not before Alabama had a chance to shoot itself in the foot and be the same stereotype we have always been, always at the forefront of dumb fuckery. Hallelujah and roll tide.